I should be able to get it now. Ah, yes. Whew. Um, Alright. I need to log into a league account to view it, don't I? That's the new way to do these things.
I have no idea.
Which account can I log into? Let's go with this one. Okay, cool. Profile. It's Ty My Ty, right?
Yeah, same as my username on here.
Cool. Warwick, right?
Yep.
Cool. Download. Here we go. So many things open. I love it. Okay, cool. Tell me if you
So am I gonna be hearing your voice double?
I can mute myself on it. It doesn't really matter to me.
Am I gonna be hearing your voice double?
Actually, you can just mute the stream. It's easier that way.
Yeah, I'll just do that. How far behind is it?
Not very far. It's about 3 seconds.
Honestly, whenever I get into a game at something like Jarvan, I love versing Jarvan.
It's probably a good thing. Cool. Let's see. You have a Kale versus Rhythm, Jarvan versus Warwick, Zillion versus Morgana. Wow, that's a fun lane right there. Ezreal, Sivir, and Sona, Nami. Alright, cool. So what do you know about matchups outside of the jungle? Are you like a pure jungler that's never laned in your life? Or did you like lane before and then switch to jungle?
I used to main ADC, and then after a couple seasons, like 4 and 5, I switched to top because I hated where ADC was going. Because that's when ADC sucked ass.
Alright.
So I've played all the lanes a bit, but mainly nowadays I play jungle and top the most.
Alright, cool. And your elo is gold or something, right?
Yeah, now it is.
Alright, cool. So
I hate mid. I've never done mid. I skip mid.
Alright, cool. So what do you know about lane mechanics? Like, do you know, like, wave management or not really?
I know a bit about how to freeze it, but usually, since I'm an aggressive player, I try to shove it as much as possible. Because I always like trying to take early tower.
So generally your wave management is selective to shoving the wave and getting power?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Unless I'm losing, then I don't really know what I try to do at that point, honestly.
Alright, cool. Let's see if I can get this thing. I need to... I think I have to change this to, yeah, borderless. Yep, there it is. Alright, cool. So, just so you know things about lane states, and this is kind of the reason why it's kind of harder for coaches to deal with pure junglers, which are junglers that don't lane as much, is they can very easily mess up lane states without, actually thinking about what they're doing to their laners. So for example, let's say that I'm a Morgana, right? I'm the Morgana, and then Zillion's over here. We're gonna pretend he's here for now, right? Now, lane state right now is it's even, right? It meets in the middle, right?
Yeah.
The way that a jungler can mess that up very easily is, let's say that Morgana gets a gank from you. You came in, and then Zillion's dead, right? Now, your first instinct, right, is you want to shove the wave in, right?
Yeah, sometimes I actually don't really tax like at all.
I know. It's not about taxing, it's about like helping to shove. Like you can help shove without taxing, right? So
Yeah.
right here, like you have these three casters, right? You can like help shove by leaving them all at like very small amounts of HP, so that when Morgana goes in, she presses her W, they'll all die. That's a form of shoving or helping to shove out a wave, right? So when we take this lane state into account, let's say that Zillion dies and you want to shove the wave. The issue with a play like that is that if Zillion gets his wave shoved in, for example, then Zillion comes back, he can push back because the lane state's going to end up right here, right? And you don't want that to happen for Morgana, especially against Jarvan, who's going to be likes to level 2 gank and level 3 gank, right? So what I want to make sure is going on is, when you're thinking about doing ganks and when you think about ganking and things like that, you want to be very what's the word? You want to be very aware of how you can affect the lane. So cool, you start red, you lost a lot of health early, right? Because you fought down here. Cool, that's fine. The issue with that is that because of the fight down here, that Jarvan wants to start on red side, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So you go to your red side, you want to do the horizontal pathing. That's fine. But the issue is that you're now slower than him inherently, because not only do you have to kite more because you're lower health, he doesn't. So he gets priority on, he finished a camp while you finished only one. So he's on 2 camps, you're on 1. Right?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens here. Yeah, he can easily just go for the scuttle here. It's fine to do this pathing, I guess. Like, what is, like, do you always conform to a same path, or do you just do whatever happens?
Generally, I do red into wolves into blue.
Red into wolves into blue.
Depending on whatever I feel like, I either do Gromp or Scuttle, or if he takes it or not.
Scuttle. Yeah, he'll take the scuttle here. So what he can do, right, as enemy jungler, he can tap. Where is my thing? There it is. Cool. He can tap that. He can tap red, tap Raptors, tap Scuttle, and then he can go either mid or bot, right? And then your choice is, let me tap red, tap wolves, tap blue, right?
Yeah.
So what happens in this instance is Jarvan has priority already, because number one, you were low enough and you had to kite back to not die. But two, because he's an early ganker, he gets priority on ganking either of these lanes. So if you conform to this gank path where you go, not gank path, you're pathing for farming, where you start red into wolves into blue, then you're going to be behind, because not only do you not get the scuttle, but Jarvan's going to gank either bot or mid, and you're not going to be there for it. So, in terms of early pathing, because you know that he's going to start his red side, I would argue that instead you go from your red into your Krugs, then your Raptors, right? This will give you level 3, and then he can do whatever the hell he wants bot side. Doesn't matter right now, right? It just doesn't matter at this point. Then you can eat Scuttle, and you can get blue side. Now, by the time you get to his blue, he'll have ganked either mid or bot, right?
Yeah.
So, what I would say is, and the reason why I think this is a good move is because inherently Riven wins that matchup, right? Just
Yeah.
inherently, she is going to win this matchup until Kayle hits level 16, and then it's a skill matchup, right? You already know that this guy never gonna die. She should never die. Neither of these people can kill each other unless one of them messes up, right?
Yeah.
In this lane, they should never die, and they should never die. They both comps are inherently safe, but the onus is on your team because you guys chose the Riven and they chose the Kayle, right? And
Yeah.
then in the jungle, it's just a stalemate. It really depends on which one of you is just the better jungler. It depends on who is a better ganker, who is a better pather, right?
Yeah.
So that's how this kind of pathing can work. If you take the vertical jungling path and you allow Jarvan to just do whatever the hell he needs to, like, for example, he can literally just say, fuck right off, take the scuttle, go bot, gank this. Because they're an inherently safe lane, they shouldn't die here, so they don't. Right?
Yeah.
So
I've
if you do take this other path, by the time he's ganked, you're on this scuttle. Right? And he's moving back into his red side, and he has nothing to clear. He has his Krugs. So you can freely take his blue, and then he's now down. You've cleared 1, 2, 3, 4 camps plus the blue 5. He's cleared 2 plus scuttle 3, and you're up 2 camps on him inherently, right?
Yeah.
But that's just an initial pathing thing, which is like completely fine. Like in lower MMRs, conventional pathing, just regular pathing is fine. It's just not always as efficient, right? So you can eat Gromp here, he'll have to eat Krug. So you both have nothing on blue side and red side. Now what I don't like about clears when it comes to low MMRs, where you guys do this weird zigzagging thing, you guys like to go like, hold on. Let's say that this is your jungle, right? You guys
Okay.
start on red side, then you go into blue side, clear some things, and then you go back over here, and then you clear raptors. And I always think this is the weirdest path, because to me, that just means I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time when I was on my red side, right? I just didn't know. Like, you
I
can clear red here, and then go wolves, and then blue, and then Gromp, but if you have nothing to do after this, you're like, well, actually, you could have just ganked bot at this point because they're already down here. But
I
what?
I don't like taking Raptors on Warwick because he has no AoE at all.
Start E. You go W, then you go to Krugs up here with your E. You'll take the damage reduction, focus the big one first. Then you go down here. You can take the Q, use your E before it. Then you're going to go past it. Right? Hold on. So you Q here, and it'll send you past here, but you have to have your E prepped and have it pop right when you're back here, so it pushes all of these raptors out while you deal main damage to the big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And because you have your W, you're always going to remain healthy, especially since you still have your red buff ticking. Right?
Yeah.
That's how you would do raptors. Other than
And
that,
then I got another question too. Usually when I'm playing Warwick, almost every game, I tell my laners not to leash because I can solo it pretty easily, even
right.
at that low HP.
Yeah. Like,
So it does give me a slower clear, but
yeah. I would say it really depends on your jungle matchup. If you know you're in a farming matchup where like you guys aren't gonna gank a lot, that's not an example of this game because he's playing Jarvan and you're playing Warwick. This is a heavy ganking game. But if you're in a super farm heavy game where like you're against like Sejuani or Zac or even Graves nowadays, and even Kane sometimes, then I'd say don't get a leash. But if you're in a ganking one, 100% you want the leash. Because what you did here, right? You soloed this, and by the time that you finished, he was done with his raptors.
Yeah.
Right? And then what happens bot is Sivir has to blow flash. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Let's see. I think a good majority of jungling is dependent on how you play the early game and how your first clear goes. So it's okay that you take the scuttle here. Right now you're still like even in camps. It could just be better. Yeah, this is good here. Riven's a bad player. Okay. Alright, this is good steal. Now, I'm not too sure about Warwick's capabilities, but I think you can turn a lot earlier without having to force this situation right here. Alright, let me see. Go. I think right when you turn the corner, you can actually, because once you get the movement speed buff, when you turn the corner, I think you can do it. You can just turn back. And then Riven doesn't have to come down. I think you win the auto war because he only has EQ. This is a very awkward situation. This situation really like my issue with situations like this is that this type of scenario, right, where you did good, you killed Kayle, you killed Jarvan, good things, but what this play does is it forces the enemy to be bad for it to work, right? It forces them to be like the onus is on them to fuck up for this situation to turn against them, right? Because in an ideal situation where Kayle is like a smart enough player, the second that Jarvan sees you coming here, right, she can head down way earlier, and then you're pinched right here, right?
Yeah.
But because she's not a good player, she doesn't do that, and instead what happens is she comes down late, right? Holy, that's too dark of a color. She comes down late, and you're here, and Riven's already here because she's a slightly better player, and you're able to turn it. But you can turn it earlier because you know already where the Riven is, right?
Yeah.
If you know Riven's coming early, you can keep them right here. And the reason why I say you want to keep them right there is mainly because you have the not only do you have the movement speed coming from here, you can just wiggle in this pocket as Warwick, and you'll be able to just keep your movement speed and your W up so that you continuously heal. And on top of it, Riven is able to use this area very, very easily, right? She's really good at it because she can 3Q it, or she can just W, and she can play around vision very well. It's a very good situation to fight here for Riven, especially if she has the CDR for it, or it has the cooldowns for it, right? Now, that's the only reason I'd say you can probably turn a lot earlier, and then you can guide Jarvan up this corridor, where Riven can just hop the wall, third Q it, and then you guys kill easily. And Kayle can't respond because the lane state, she's already being pushed in. So if she does respond, what happens is she then has to give up this entire minion wave. Right? So I do think you can easily turn here. You can probably get a much better advantage. It's more silent. It's like there's advantages in the game that are silent, right? That you don't immediately notice. But the fact that Kayle isn't there to help out Jarvan, and on top of it, after you would have killed Jarvan here, you can easily just dive Kayle because she has a wave shoved under her turret, right? So what you can do here is you can push your advantage further if you just pay more attention to the minimap on where the Riven would be and where you can play around in certain pockets. But overall, it's still a good play. It can just always be played a little bit better.
Yeah, I think people severely underestimate Warwick's early game ability in terms of 1v1ing
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
in the
he can
jungle.
1v1 pretty easily. It's really like when Warwick wins, it's not because Warwick is a very good champion. It's more that the enemy players are bad, and Warwick is a champion that punishes bad play. Morgana is pushing for zero reason. Jesus. Cool. Yes, the classic level 4. Jesus Christ.
I got really unlucky right here because he just ran over.
I mean, it's fine. I think that that situation is okay, and the reason is because you're doing this play with the lane state in your favor, right? So
Mhm.
you initiate on this play, and this is a good play, and the reason why is because bot lane already has priority, and you already know that Morgana backed and is coming back already. She can easily clear the first wave and then walk down, right?
Mhm.
So this is a good play because you know that just now in the last play that their mid and jungle did, they bursted both his flash and Zillion's flash. And you know Zillion doesn't have mana, he doesn't have health, so he has to back. So he's already gone, right? You also know that their bot lane is under tower right now. So they can't go without missing, they can't go without losing a plate or missing a lot of CS. Right?
Yeah.
So your bot lane can come up super easily, which they do. Morgana clears the wave, can collapse in right here. Jarvan is already dead. Before your team even shows up, he's dead. And the only way he escapes is by EQing out. And that's it. There's nothing else he can do in terms of escaping. But
Mhm.
because he's a mongrel, right? We'll watch why he's a mongrel here. Instead of doing that, he tries to take the dragon, hovers near the outside of it, and EQs into your team. Right? And then he like spam pings his bot lane because he thinks it's their fault for not rotating up.
Oh, and my garbage smite.
Oh yeah, true. Alright, you invade. That's fine. This is perfectly fine. You can actually just hard invade this guy only because you're a level up on him. Yeah, just because you're a level up on him, you can just take anything. Whew. Interesting. Alright, cool. Let's see. Right here. I think after you smite, you leave. Like, hold on. Right when the buff is right here still, like right in this pocket, I think that's when you walk in, not after. So yeah, you can steal it. You have to don't take the extra 2 seconds to walk forward. You walk in. You just walk out. So that Morgana doesn't have to die for it. And then you can walk out as well. But that's more of a team coordination thing. If you like the timing on it is insanely sharp, where you need to have you need to go in right when the buff is right here. Like when you see it, that's when you walk in, and then he's gonna walk back because he's less health. You walk in, you can smite this, not smite, but Q. And don't do the full Q. Don't do the Q that like takes you across. Just do
Yeah.
the tap. You tap it, take it, and then you walk the fuck out of there. because you can't do that. You can't.
I don't
fight
remember if I
Howard.
had smite or not.
You don't have smite. You probably used it on dragon. No, yeah, you did use it on dragon.
Yeah.
So you don't have smite, but you can tap Q it and just walk out, hit the blast plant. Make sure Morgana is like on top of this play. By the way, it's the only way.
I was really trying to wait for it, but
yeah.
I prefer on the plant, but we got unlucky.
Yeah.
She didn't go over.
Yeah. That's tragic. But if you guys can do it that way, you both get out, and Morgana doesn't have to die for anything. But the return kill on Sona kind of makes it worth. It's just like what happens here is kind of like none of this needs to happen because neither team gets anything out of it, right? Yeah, neither team gets anything out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping wards. Alright, cool. So you eat that. This is warded. So he knows already. Wait. Wait, that's such a weird interaction. What the hell? Wait. Huh?
It's because I think it's because it was mid animation already. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's the same thing with Ezreal's E. It's really annoying, actually.
Okay, so she hops wall. That's fine. No, it wasn't.
Really?
And then he flashes for no reason. That's insane. Cool.
Oh yeah, the flash for no reason. I love that.
It's flashes for no. Okay, cool. Whatever. Riven's a Riven player. Whatever. This play is fine. This play is completely fine. You get a lot out of this anyways. Because at this point you've already cemented your lead in the game. You're up in CS. You're up 4 kills. At this point in the game, you're literally allowed to do whatever you want. As long as you just like keep pressure up. Wow, I love top laners like this. I do it all the time when I play top.
Do what? The ribbon thing?
Oh no. There's this thing that you can do. Let me see. Red side. No, not red side. Blue side. Let's see if she did it right though. She might have done it wrong. Oh no, she did it right. She did it right. Yeah. So there's this thing you can do in top lane where if the lane state is like this, you shove first wave, make sure they lose vision of you, pretend that you backed, they'll hide in the bush here. When you walk up to CS, because you think they're gone, you just walk up and you try to kill, they have to either burn flash or die.
I actually like doing that. I do that sometimes with Nico.
Yeah. God. This is such an uninteractive lane right here. This Morgana Zillion. By the way, your Morgana's like laning is kind of tragic. Okay. She doesn't need to walk out there. That was a really good Q. He ults. She has to land bind. You land bind. You're slowed. Doesn't matter. At this point in the game, it's just about playing the macro correctly. Making sure that, you're in the right places at the right time. Yeah, let's see. Cool. You eat dragon because you're allowed to. Jarvan can't contest you for dragon. You can full clear your jungle, then invade on him. He'll die. You can go ahead. Yeah, like at this point, the game's pretty much over because it's 14 minutes. You guys accrued already at 5k gold lead, and you're allowed to just invade no matter what you do. You did die there though. Let's see what happened. All right. What do you know about the lands?
All right, let's see. I'm still
What do
catching up.
you know here? Let's see. Alright, let's go back a few seconds before you decided to invade. Alright, let's take into account what you know now. So you don't have anyone on the map. They spotted you because they had a ward up there. You know Jarvan's here. You know Zillion's mid, but you don't know where anyone else is. You know Ezreal's bot now. Cool, so you have more room to go in. So you decide to invade. Now you know Sona is mid. And then you you still went for it, huh?
I think I was kind of playing like a monkey and I wasn't looking at the map.
Yeah. It's a good ult. I'm guessing somebody flashes here. Oh, wait, no, she just hit the Q. Wait. Hold on. Did she actually? Wait, she's a cunt. Holy shit. Okay, so she maxed Q. She's a really bad player.
Ooh, Kale?
Yeah, Kale. She maxed Q.
Oh.
That's the only reason that she kills you there. But yeah, I think the only mistake there is that you didn't account for the Sona being there and you didn't account for the TP.
Yeah.
And maybe if you're a little bit if you're a little bit faster on committing to that fight, like you commit to killing the Jarvan with your R, I think maybe he probably dies. But it's fine. You guys get a tier 1 out of it. They shouldn't die here. Riven's being a Riven player. Let's see. You eat that. They died mid. You eat Herald. Honestly, I would have saved Herald. I wouldn't have done it early. Then the only reason why I wouldn't do it early is because taking a look at the timing that we have here, it's about 16 minutes when you took it, right? So you take it at 16 minutes, you get Rift Herald. And Rift Herald, that lasts for, I believe, 4 minutes?
It's either 3 or 4.
It's about 4 minutes, I think. Right? So what happens is, at 20 minutes, you would have had to use Rift Herald before then, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to take into account how far ahead you guys are. You guys are 8k ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and you have Mountain, right? So what I would think would be the correct play is, instead of taking it at 16, take it at 18, do Baron at 22, right? So this game doesn't have to go on longer than the next, 4 or 6 minutes it should have, right? So you take that 22, right? You drop Herald and you have the Baron empowered on him.
Can you Baron empower Rift Herald?
Well, you don't Baron empower Rift Herald. You Baron empower the things around Rift Herald.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I think Rift Herald does get movement speed off of Baron empowered, but that's it.
Yeah, I actually did not even know that.
I think it only gets movement speed, but I'm not too sure about that. But you Baron Rift Herald, because you guys are running a 1-4 comp, you send her in a side lane. You 4, you pair up, you go down mid. She goes down top. You drop the Rift Herald top. You guys 4-run down mid with the Baron enhanced. These guys can't compete because Kayla's gonna die regardless. She's not even a champion yet. Jarvan kind of messed up his early game, and he can't be saved by that. He doesn't want to engage with this comp, and these two don't have enough damage yet to do anything that matters. Right? Like, in terms of compositions, you guys have already won, even if you guys don't accrue this much of a gold lead. Because Jarvan is such a bad pick into a team like this because of how team fights are going to work out, right? So the only good pick that they have, like, actually I wouldn't even argue that. I would say that the bot lane pick is what really messes with them. And what's really good for you guys is you guys have a lot of leeway on what you do. So you and Riven do the same thing. That's good. Morgana helps you both do what you need to do. You guys can go in without getting CC'd. Sivir allows you guys to rush in, so she really helps you. And then Nami, it doesn't matter. She can press R and then you guys all run in. So your comp inherently engages, right?
Yeah.
And then their comp, they have to decide, do we want to engage with these three or do we want to poke back with these two? Right? So they have to make up their mind, and you'll see it probably in the next like sequence of what happens where they probably don't know what to do. Alright, we can probably slow it down too. I'm sure there's like a team fight that happens that just breaks the game, huh?
Yeah, near the end, I think.
Yeah. No, it's probably this one. But yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point there's not much more in terms of like what you would need to know about pathing. It's just more about being more efficient and using kills that you get to just push out leads. Like Riven shouldn't have to be up here for this long without something else happening on the map. Right?
Yeah, that's my biggest struggle is getting like a lot of kills but not knowing what to do with it, as Warwick especially.
Yeah. I honestly think that Warwick doesn't need the kills. I think that it's much better to give kills over as Warwick. Like, after you get your first 2 items, I don't think it matters who gets the kills. Especially in a lane like Riven or Morgana, I would definitely give a kill over to them.
Like, if you look at this especially, I'm kind of just running around like not knowing what to engage on.
Cool. You probably want to push this out so that you guys don't lose a lot of health when you walk in. See, now he has to tank it for an extra 2 shots. If the cannon goes in first, it will tank before the Rift Herald.
Oh, it's because I had like 3 seconds left.
Yeah, that's fine. That comes down to the whole timing thing that I went on with.
Yeah.
Alright, wait, this is actually a perfect example right here. Right? So, in terms of what we have available here, right? Let's take this situation as if no one has done anything yet. No one's used any abilities, right? Their team has to decide how they want to play this fight. Right? The only way they can play this fight, Jarvan EQs onto Sivir, presses the R, and then we get the Cataclysm. She has to R him so that he doesn't literally get burst down by you two, and then CC'd up by the Nami. Right?
Yeah.
Then what happens is, because she's level 12 now, she's going to focus on whoever's closest to her because she's a low elo player and she's going to A-click everywhere, right? I'm not even joking. That's how Kaeles play. So she's going to A-click the thing closest to her. And because she R'd Jarvan, her mouse is going to be right here. So the closest thing is going to be Morgana. And for some odd reason, she's not going to auto the Sivir because she's really bad. Right? So she's going to go on him. Now these two, this is where the issue in their comp comes in, right? Because Kayle and Jarvan, both of their team fights are reliant on them joining in, going in that way.
Yeah.
Ezreal is now forced to E in to get into this fight. And Sona has to E in with her speed up to get into the fight. So they're already 1 second behind in terms of the team fight. Right? They're already 1 second behind. And then Zilean, he's not even on the screen, but he is slightly behind the Sona. We're gonna pretend he's right here, but he's really down there. He is 3 seconds behind the fight. So he's super behind, and he can't get to the Jarvan to R him. And he can't get to the Kayle to R her, and he can't get to the Ezreal to R him. Unless one of you three mess up the fight. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the issue with their comp. They have to decide, do we sacrifice our bot lane to engage and then do nothing? Or do we play to our bot lane and then lose by doing nothing? Right? So he EQs in, you guys can kite back. And I don't know why she dies. She just probably... I don't know, man.
It's probably
What was it? Zilean?
I think it was Sivir, if I remember right. The bomb was on
Yeah.
Sivir.
She walks in and kills. Yeah, whatever. And then she's allowed to do whatever she wants because she's a Riven player. She can actually just... maybe she was box for half a second. Okay, cool. Yeah. You guys can shove mid. Bot's in a slow push. You guys don't want this thing to happen top. You guys can tap mid. You guys now have to play around objectives because it's past the 22-minute mark. You have to make sure that all lanes are pushed. I'm guessing this is where the big fight happens once you guys get the Baron, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. After Morgana died and we all backed off, I don't know if you saw, but they got caught out and there's like triple kill.
I'll go back, but yeah, this is where the like fundamental problems in their team fight happen, right? So you guys can engage here, and then they have to decide, well, do we want to engage or do we want to poke back and kite? And then they're too confused onto what they want to do as a team that they can't engage properly. So then Jarvan is forced to be up here, and then the other four can't come in because they're not sure how their team comp works now. Right? So they start to kite back. That's perfectly fine, but that's not good because it goes against what they want to do to win. Like, they're put in a situation inherently by their team comp where they're not allowed to play correctly. And then they'll just lose off of it. And Kayle's just sitting here like, my team sucks. I didn't get to level 16. And then you look at the CS difference, and it's like you guys had 185 at 26 minutes. It's like, yeah, dude, your team sucks, man. You guys are BM. Just end the game.
Warwick does no damage to turrets or structures, dude.
Yeah,
like, you can see him trying. Except for that right there. I just wanted to...
But yeah, that's generally how it should have gone.
So basically, the biggest thing is like my jungle pathing early, and then
early jungle pathing, and then literally play with the kills. Make sure that you're getting something for every kill you get. What really helps a lot of low elo players is whenever they get a kill, ask yourself, what can I do with this that can actually, help me win? Or what can I do with this that will, help me further my lead? Otherwise, you just end up not really doing anything, and then you stall out the game for no reason, and you lose. And that's never a good situation.
Nope.
Right? So yeah, I think that's the only issue with what I saw in the gameplay. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I generally don't like Blood Razor on Warwick, but it's whatever. You won the game with it. It's probably because this. I don't like Blood Razor. I actually like Cinderhulk and Warrior more on him, but I don't know. I don't play Warwick enough for me to care.
Yeah, I think I had a discussion with someone who mains Warwick, who said, and they prefer Cinderhulk and Warrior more, but they respected the Devourer choice because all three work on him.
Yeah, they all three of them work. It's just I think it's more of a preference thing at this point. Like I'm pretty sure the Cinderhulk, like you can go Aftershock on Warwick and probably still do really well.
Yeah, I think it's one of those champions that like there's a couple things that work on him. Nothing's really like the best.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's about